The Dash. David John Reimer made his appearance in Steinbach, Manitoba on March 30th, 1948. He was the oldest of 5 children born to Reverend John Kay and Leona Reimer. David was a dreamer, independent, energetic, generous with time and money, and the eternal optimist. As a child, he had an incredible work ethic, developing a free press route that earned him a trip to New York City when he was just 14. He grew up in Winnipeg's North End, moving to North Kildonan in his teens. At 16, David's parents accepted a pastoral call to Meade, Kansas. David graduated at Meade Academy and was promptly drafted to report for military service in Vietnam. He wrote a letter to apply for reclassification. The new classification? Undraftable alien. David and I met the summer of 1967, got married in Winnipeg on August 3rd, 1968. Jonathan was born in 1970, Russell in 1971, and Natalie in 1973. We moved from Winnipeg to Steinbach and opened the Happening Clothes Shop. Life was so busy, 3 kids, 4 stores, sports, and community responsibilities. Our marriage took its toll. Facing separation, we began to look inward. In January 1979, we both made a commitment to Christ. Life completely changed for us. We reconciled our marriage and never looked back. By October 1979, we felt the call to go into the ministry. We sold our stores and went from jeans to Jesus. We prepared for ministry, attending Bible school, and working as one of 5 pioneer couples in a church plant in Reimer, Manitoba. Having been baptized in the Holy Spirit, we ran into some opposition, and God moved us to Steinbach Full Gospel Chapel, working with Pastor Glenn and Lois Forsberg. Upon completion of Bible school, we accepted a call to Federal Way, Washington, ministering with Reverend Dr. John Holliday. Dealing with some immigration issues, we were unable to stay in the U.S. and moved our family to Wetaskiwin, Alberta. We began working at Wetaskiwin Full Gospel with Pastor Glenn and Lois Forsberg. In 1991, we accepted a call to Steinbach Full Gospel Chapel. Jonathan and Russell married Alberta girls, and Natalie moved back to Manitoba and married Scott Anderson. We continued to serve God in ministry, founding Shalom Family Worship Center in Steinbach. David was an avid community support person. He served on the Steinbach Chamber of Commerce for 10 years, 2 years as president. He was the president of the Huskies Hockey Club for several years, winning the Allen Cup. He was a basketball ref in southeastern Manitoba for over 40 years, and our family has set up a scholarship in David's memory. He loved parades. He was a parade marshal in Steinbach for over 10 years. He was involved in as many parades as possible, all the way from Montreal to Alberta and Jerusalem. True to form, he took on an active role in the March for Jesus movement for its duration. Our last parade together was on our 50th anniversary, where we, dressed as a bride and groom, had a horse and buggy take us on the royal tour down Steinbach's Main Street. He was also on the board of the Pat Porter Active Living Senior Center for a number of years. David was very interested in politics, local, provincial, federal, or global. He informed himself about current events and was very knowledgeable on any political topic. He ran for a local council seat in the late 1970s. He was a member of the Christian Heritage Party since its inception in 1986. He was on both the federal and provincial caucus and was the interim leader for 2014. He ran for the CHP in the federal election 8 times. David was a pro-life activist. He served as chair of the Steinbach Ministerial for a number of years, organized a weekly prayer meeting at the Steinbach City Hall in conjunction with Prayer Canada. It continued for over 10 years. He organized a number of mayor prayer breakfasts, met with a group of prayer warriors, and prayed for the MLAs and MPs regardless of party affiliation. David was an FCA Manitoba chair and served as an elder for a number of years. He was a visionary, embracing the vision of Roger and Marge Armbruster for Canada Awakening. He sat on the board from day one to the time of his passing. Together we pastored Shalom Family Worship Center in Steinbach and Selah Christian Retreat Center in Vassar. We began in 1994 with the endorsement of Pastor Dr. John Lucas II. Our ministry extended to Ildishane, Manitoba, church planting and endorsing Amazing Grace Ministry, a Filipino outreach in Winnipeg, a still thriving church with Pastor Kyle Cronia. Our children and grandchildren have been a great source of love, encouragement, entertainment, and blessing to us. We have 5 grandchildren: Seth, Max, Emmett, Molly, and Hank. David and I traveled extensively, visiting the continent of Africa on several occasions, visiting many countries in Europe, many locations in Mexico and Costa Rica. We made many trips to Israel. We have been in almost every state in the U.S. and every province in Canada. David's final trip on May 1, 2022, took him to heaven. I will follow when the time comes.